All right, guys, this is one of my absolute favorite topics, and it could be one of my absolute biggest pet peeves, is stop being a secret agent. There's so many opportunities out there that I feel we're not taking advantage of. So that's what a lot of today is going to kind of go over, is a lot of these missed opportunities where you forget to look at these profiles, you forget all that these things, places can actually do for you. And that's what we're going to basically be going over today, is not to be one of these shadow heads. But first, I want everyone to take their phone out. I want you to go on to Safari, to Google, whatever. I want you to do a search for your name. And I want to see, let's see here. Let me get my presentation. I want you to see if you can beat me in worst showing up as results when you Google your name. I have had one person, if you can beat me, I will send you a $25 Amazon gift card. So when you Google Heather Holliday, she happens to be now an international freak show sword swallower. So everything you see says Heather Holliday at Heather Swallows. So I want y'all to see if maybe someone's a serial player. If you're a football player, that doesn't count. That's not, you can't beat me in worst results. No. For the longest time, Heather Holliday was just a small sword swallower in Coney Island. And then Hurricane Sandy came, wiped Coney Island kind of clean for a while. And then she ended up a guest appearance on MTV's Freak Show. And now she's an international star. I've even had my father, who lives in Germany, send me articles of Heather Holliday doing acts over by him. So she's an international superstar. I will probably never be able to beat top results because she has a lot of videos, a lot of photos, and she has a huge following. I do not have 30,000 followers on Instagram, but that is the first thing you're going to see are all of these photos, videos, and at Heather Swallows when you Google my name. So can anybody beat my results? Do you actually show up on that first little scroll? Are you showing up there? Everybody's good? Mm-hmm. So nobody's a serial killer, at least been in jail for horrible things? Everybody's showing up as themselves? Everyone's good. No one can beat you. Well, that's no fun. Glenn's late to the party. Did you do a search for your name? Glenn will probably show up just fine. He may be a football player. So Glenn, what we're doing is we're doing a search to see if anyone comes up horribly like I do. Because if you Google Heather Holliday, it shows up, everything is at Heather Swallows. It's pretty bad. It's pretty embarrassing when, oh no, Heather Holliday can help you. And they Google like, well, that I may get more than I bargained for with this one. But anyway, so that's just a fun thing, but nobody's a serial killer. No one can beat my results in absolutely horribleness. So this is kind of where this class came from, because when I went to Google Academy, I allowed them happily to use my name to help me understand, the whole search engine, how that works, things that I can be doing to improve my ranking, to at least try to squeeze into that top page somewhere where it doesn't show, this Heather Holliday. So that's where this class kind of came from. So I'm going to give you some of the tips I got from the Google Academy, as well as some other resources and things that we don't always think of being top of mind on the internet. So let's go over here. First one, and I don't really have an MLS profile, so I use Carrie because we've done this class together. Your MLS profile, I'm going to say, is probably your number one, since you're printing out all of these sheets that go to your consumers as you're showing properties, right? So you need to make sure your MLS actually has your email, your website, a current photo, and that it is completely filled out with all of this information. Not only on a consumer level, because you're constantly adding people as prospects and sending them emails in that aspect, but you're printing out these consumer, the consumer reports or consumer sheets that you're giving to them on these properties you're showing them. Well, at the bottom, is all of your information. And you would be surprised how many people may have an incorrect email, but how many don't actually have their website listed. So make sure that is completely full with all of that information. If anything changes, that should be like the number one spot you actually change. But it also helps when you have maybe the weekend, it's after hours, another agent is looking for information on a property. If your information is not current or you have the office number instead of your cell phone, they can't really get a hold of you. And you want, other agents to be able to find you as well as consumers. So make sure in your MLS, everything is full. If you're a member of multiple MLSs, the same thing goes. Make sure you have everything filled out inside of that MLS. Social media, of course, one of my biggest things, as you know, I manage, the Remax Creative Group, the Remax Tech and Tools Group. And I know the Remax Creative Group, we get at minimum 50 requests every single day. There is hardly a time where we don't have over 100 agents trying to get into that group, but they're secret agents. There's nothing in their profile that says they're with Remax. They are just sitting in the queue waiting for one of the admins, to have all this free time to go and do our research, go to Remax, go look them up to make sure they're actually with Remax before we let them in the group. It should not be that way. We should hover over their name. They should proudly have they're with Remax. They should have a balloon somewhere in their profile. Their website should be there, their phone number. It's one of our biggest pet peeves, and it's such a missed opportunity. Not only that, because just like Jennifer, we know so many people in the network. I cannot tell you, at least once a week, I get a call or a text or an email from an agent out of my market looking for another agent in another market. I may know people off the top of my head, but we're doing our daily lives. I immediately go to Facebook and I look for their cell phone number, for their email, for their website address, so I can just screenshot that and send it to that other agent. If it's not there, I'm going to the next agent that I know is in that market. Make it as easy as possible for anybody to be able to find you. And so for Facebook, make sure in your profile, you have all of your YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of those other social accounts, because maybe someone's not big on Facebook, but they're big on Instagram. Make sure that they're able to connect with you wherever you are, and make sure all those profiles are completely set up as well. Make sure inside of your About section, you have linked your business page if you have one, but also make sure you have Remax's Stuart on there. Make sure your office business page, because that'll have the Remax on there. People will know completely that, who you are and what you do. Make sure you have your About section, that you're in real estate or whatever it may be. So make sure all of your profiles, Instagram is great. You can use Linktree, or I actually use Canva to make this little card here. So if you went to this bit.ly/H3 social nut, it's going to take you to a nice little card that has all these different links that, to go to my website, go do this, go do that. It'll have all these different links when they click on that. So it can take them a variety of places, since LinkedIn doesn't allow us to put links inside of our posts. So, same thing with blogs or something. So I can have, a nice little sheet that has all that. And we have a template for you. So if that's something you want, just send me an email, send me a message, and I'll make sure you can get that with Canva. We'll make it beautiful for you, or you can do it yourself. But make sure to go through all of your social profiles to make sure that you are linked in a way that's associated with Remax and all of that stuff. Don't be a secret agent. A lot of people may have their phone numbers hidden. Don't do that. If you are a little hesitant, you can get a free Google Voice number, which is what I do. So my personal cell phone, but I don't sell real estate. I don't need all the wackadoodles, calling me. You can get a Google Voice number that comes over. So I'll know that if someone calls that number, they're getting it from social media, and that's how they're finding me. So I'll probably screen that call, but you don't have to do that. Put your information everywhere. Stop being a secret agent. Make it super easy for a consumer to be able to find you and be able to connect with you. So that's huge, because there's so many missed opportunities. And I will say, of the requests we get every day in all of these groups, I'm going to say 20% have that they're associated with Remax, and it's easy to find. So that's why this is like such a huge missed opportunity and like a really big pet peeve of mine, because it shouldn't be that hard for me to find your information to give to somebody. Zillow, like it or not, it is where the consumers go all the time. Pimp out your free profile. You do not need to pay Zillow anything, but you need to make sure you're connected with it syncs. So your listings, your sales, you can actually hyperlink inside of your bio so that it can go to your website. You can have all the cities you serve, link it to that search on your website, hyperlink all of that. You'd be amazed at how many free leads you can get from just having a Zillow profile that has all of that synced in there. So use that to your advantage, pimp out that profile, get those reviews. I say put them everywhere, get Google reviews, whatever it may be, get as many as you can. That's really going to help you get these free leads coming to you. And make sure that your listings, your sales, all of that is connected. And that's just to make sure that the email address, you have the same email address inside of your Zillow, which you can have multiple, is inside of your MLS. That's how they connect the two. So you just got to make sure those are there, and it should sync over your listings as well as all of your sales. So one less thing to do, but all of that information will show up there. And this is just kind of showing how many leads this profile is getting, and they have not paid Zillow a penny in 10 years, but we're getting between 5 and 10 leads a month, and that just goes on rotation, but that's free. That's just for pimping out the profile. So missed opportunity. People are on Zillow, take advantage of that. Like them or love them, hate them, whatever it may be, pimp out your profile, get those free leads that come straight to you. And link, as you can see, there's tons of links that I have down here. You can do that with every single one of your cities. And if you don't know how to do it, you just schedule a Zoom with me and we can pimp it out for you. Remax.net. Okay, here's another, what I want everyone to do. This is our fun number 2. I want you to get your phones out. I want you to do a search for your name plus Remax. And when you do this, whether we want it to or not, your Remax public profile is what is going to show up as the first result. And I'm just going to kind of show that real quick here. Let me move this over. So when we do that, hopefully you can see the screen now, my public profile. Okay, so when you do this, and this, a lot of this kind of changed recently. Before, if you do not have your website inside of your bio, we did not see this My Website. It didn't show up, so it didn't kind of really matter. Now it is there by default. So if you have not added your personal website, which I want you all to do a search for your name plus Remax, I want you to find your public profile and I want you to click on My Website. If you have not added your own personal website, or you do not have your Bouge website published, it is going to remax.com. Why is this a big deal? Because people do a search for you. They find this public profile because it's the power of Remax. It's going to show up on that result as soon as you enter your name. They're going to go to your website because they want to find out more about you. They want to do searches for property. If your Bouge site is not published or you have not put in your actual website, it is going to remax.com. They're going to think that's your actual website. They're going to be doing searches for your area of properties. They may create a lead. If they do that, you are helping generate leads for all the other agents around you. They are not going to actually get you because it's not really your website. So this is why that is number 1, why that's super important on making sure to enhance your profile. Number 2 is you want to make sure you have all your social links, your bio. I'm going to show you how to do reviews. That'll be kind of at the end. But we want to make sure that your profile is pimped out. Not only for that, once we move over to KV Core platform, all of that information from your profile inside of remax.net, that is what is going to automatically pull over to your new website, just like it does on our Bouge websites. just like it does on your public profile. We want to make sure that is step number one when we're setting up for the Max Tech and KV Core is their number one, go through your profile, make sure you have everything in there that you want, because that'll be pulled over. And just like it did with Boosh. So we really want to make sure you are taking advantage, having all of this information, having all your designations, because also when people are on remax.net looking for agents in certain areas, we want to, it's almost like you're matchmaking. So we want to find people that have similar interests as the consumer we're sending this information to. We want to make sure all of your information is in there. So your remax.net profile is huge. Make sure you have a nice photo, make sure you have all of your bio, all of your social links, and of course, your website. And I'll go over when we get done with this to kind of show you how to be able to add all of this information. All of your awards also pull over. Mine just, obviously I haven't won any awards, so I'm not cool like you guys, but all of that information pulls over. All right, let's switch over. Go to the next slide. Realtor.com, another one we kind of forget about. Make sure you have the header that they've kind of added. Again, profile, photo, information, website, social links. It's just another one that we almost kind of forget to actually check every year. So Realtor.com, make sure if you do not have another website, make sure we have set up your Boosh website. It doesn't cost you a thing. I'm going to make it look beautiful. And of course, once we get to Max Tech, we'll be converting everything over on your behalf. But again, if you don't have another website, you haven't published your Boosh website, when someone clicks on your bio, they're going to remax.com. No excuses. We make it look beautiful. And there's an order form in your agent hub so we can get that active and look pretty and all that fun stuff. Is anybody on Nextdoor and taking advantage of everything you can do in there? Yeah, no. So Nextdoor, to me, it's a little crazy, but it's free. And there's all of your neighbors are always asking for a plumber, an AC person, all of this stuff. You can actually use this Nextdoor app to your benefit. You don't have to be in there posting all your listings and stuff like that, but be the expert for the area. Someone's looking for a plumber. Give them a list of the people that you have that you use for plumbers. You're in this business, you deal with this every single day. You know so many amazing vendors for your area. Be the expert of the area without coming across as being salesy. But you can come across, and to me, it's just giving value. And then, after people see that, all these people, you become that expert of the area. And guess what? They're going to be coming to you to sell their home or to buy a home because you know so much. But I like to always say, come from a place of value as opposed to a place of like salesy, because people read right through that. But you guys do know so much about the area, maybe even sharing if you do blogs. And I can't wait because KV Core, we have a blog platform. So we'll be doing lots of blogs about local events, the Christmas parades, where to go see Christmas lights, what to do for St. Patrick's Day, best places to take your Valentine. We'll be able to add all of that content on our KV Core site. So I can't wait for that. But those would be great things to be able to post, which also drive traffic back to your website. That's when people it's kind of like Gary V's jab, 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 right hook. So the jabs are, you're giving valuable information. Here's the plumber. Here's a couple plumbers that have worked great for my clients, whatnot. But then you come in with an article. Here are the great things to do this weekend. Are you looking, you got the air show, I think, this weekend. So all of that fun stuff, you can be actually posting. It's providing value to your actual neighbors. Become the expert of the area. And Nextdoor really gives you that platform to do that in a non-salesy, pick me kind of way. You're coming across as the expert and, giving value to your community. Oop, I went backwards. I had my clicker all set up. Google, one of my favorite free things to do. And because I like analytics, this stuff totally geeks me out and I get all excited. And some people are looking at this like, what does this even mean? So this is really, I think it's just from June through October. So 5-6 months of information. By just having a free Google business profile, this is just kind of what we've got in the last couple months. So we've had over 9,000 people that have viewed our profile by it popping up in a search when they're looking, whether for the office name, real estate in Stuart area, it'll actually even give us the search terms that were the highest that led somebody to find us. That led to 161 people physically calling our office from our Google profile. It led to over 1,000 website visitors in the last 5 months to the office website. Now that's free advertising. It doesn't cost any money to have that. So does that seem like pretty amazing to be able to get this kind of results without having to pay for it? Everyone should be screaming. I should have like a little sound effect with cheering, because doesn't cost us anything to have. We do post weekly. I can tell you the #1 post we get are when we just did photos of the office refresh. I believe in a week, those photos got over 1,000 views. So photos are huge. Definitely post those. It'll pop up even better if you're posting those photos. But really, we just kind of post blogs every week just to kind of stay active in there. Google favors that. But with artificial intelligence, if you've ever asked your Alexa for a real estate agent near you, it's kind of pulling from your profile, what's being more active, who has the most reviews. But with artificial intelligence on the rise, I tend to tell agents, focus on your free Google business account. And of course, if you're not sure if you have one or how to create that, I'm here, set up an appointment. We'll make sure to get that set up. But the one thing I'll say, you can go to google.com/business. That's how you create an account. If you have not done this before and you go in there and it asks you for your address, you're going to put that in. The first thing it's going to see is that there is already a business profile associated to that address. And it's going to say, is this where you work? Well, yes, you work at Remax Stuart, but do not click that, because what it's going to try to do is take Remax Stuart away from us and say that's who you are. And that's not the case. You need your own unique profile. So just make sure when you get prompted that you're going to say no, and that way you'll create your own identity. And if you are still unsure of any of that, I can create it underneath of Remax of Stuart, whichever office you belong to, and then I can assign it over to you so you have full control. So if you need that done, just reach out and we can make that happen as well. But definitely take advantage of Google Business if you have not done that yet, because that is a ton of views, activities, maximum exposure for yourself by having that profile set up. And then, of course, I'm super glad because you guys have always had amazing photos, but just make sure you're not using your 1990s glamour shot for your professional photos. And I know you guys are always really good about this, so I don't have to, we can skip through this, but oh my gosh, you'd be super surprised how many photos are 1990 glamour shot. We don't want that to be you. We want it to portray who you actually are. And you guys are really great with that. And I keep going backwards because my clicker stopped. This was one of my biggest takeaways when I was doing the Google Academy is brandyourself.com. This is a free, or you can have a paid version. It's really going to, you sign up, you enter your name, and it's going to kind of go through all of your profiles that you can sync and ask you, is this positive or negative? Is this you? And you go through that, it's going to rate you. Not only that, it's going to allow you ways to improve your profiles. So one of the big things that I hadn't thought about, but because I have an issue with my name, was almost writing all of my bios in a third person, because that allowed me to add my name a couple different ways and a couple, on different platforms. And that really boosted me to get up on that first page, because I am competing with someone who has the same exact name as me and, all that fun glory. But this is really going to help you. It does not like solo cups. So if you have a lot of pictures with solo cups, you're going to get a bad rating. Apparently me being on vacation must have had solo cups. So when I went and checked before class today, it told me my rating went way down because I had a lot of solo cup pictures. So it doesn't like alcohol. It doesn't like a lot of cleavage because that, they just, so it is kind of funny how they will rate, but it will be, is it positive? Is it negative? Is it you? And it's going to be able to rate you and give you opportunities. So I did pay for maybe a couple months to be able to really dive deep. And it gave me a lot of insight on helping me write my bio in a way that was going to boost up my search engine optimization for my name, because that was my biggest thing. And if you've noticed, a lot of everything I have is Heather H. Holliday. So that way I'm not, it is a little different. And because everything is H3, that was always my nickname growing up. And everybody knew it's because I have HHHs are my initials. So just kind of went with it. So that's what I do now to try to help. Not always perfect, but I do love this site for that. And it is free. You can pay, if you want, which will really give you an in-depth look at optimizing each and every one of your profiles. And then this is basically your checklist. I do this often, but I say at least once a year. You guys just come off of business planning. This is something I always add to my business planning, is to go through each and every one of my profiles, go to brand myself. What can I do to optimize? What are some of the new things that are out there? But make sure you have a professional photo that's by yourself, not cropping out your significant other or your kids or your dogs. Updated bio. Go through it. You would be surprised how many people put in the years they've been in business instead of saying over 20 years. They have, or put in since the actual year. So if you have been in business 17 years, you really have to remember to change that every single year. So I would say average it out like almost 20 or over 20 or over 25, almost 25. So that way, at least you have a buffer of a couple years to contend with that. But if you put in 17 years, I had an agent, it was like, I did it and I need this changed. And I'm like, I didn't write that, don't put in 17 years, it's been 25. That means you haven't looked at your bio in 7 years. That's not on me. You got to make sure to change that. So that's something to think about with the years is really big. Make sure that all of your profiles have your phone, your email, your website. Do a Google search. I would say do it incognito. So if you're in Chrome, there's like the little dots and it says incognito. That's going to give you a more accurate result of what a consumer, because it's not taking in all of your history and everything that you do online. So it'll be a more accurate portraying of what it's going to be like if a consumer goes and actually searches your name. And then check out Brand Yourself to get some ideas on tips and how they rate you. And maybe you have too many solo cups like me. Maybe you can cut back on those solo cups. I think I get in a lot of trouble because my Jeep's name is Moonshine. So that may get me in trouble on social a little bit, but it's all good. Okay, let me open up. I want to make sure you guys know how to edit your profile, add those reviews. So so when we're over on Mac Center, and you guys can see my Mac Center now instead of the presentation. Yes, okay. So when you log into remax.net, your profile is right here. We go update profile. Some people may have some information, but then not wondering why is it not showing up. I want to show you that. You come over here to your contact information. This is where you just go in and add all of your websites, all of your profiles. It has a ton of drop downs for ones that I don't have. So I could add my TikTok. I only go on Snapchat to text my kids because apparently that's the fastest way to get a hold of them. And they have their location shared so I can see where they're going. Other than that, I don't go on there. But the site that actually shows up on that profile right here is going to be your agent website. That is the one that is going to be linked to that little button on your public profile. So if I come over here to edit, you want to make sure you have your website there. Make sure these are both clicked. Because if you have one of these, especially the web directory, if you do not have that clicked, that means you don't want it showing up on your public profile. That's probably not the case. So if it's not showing up or that link's not working and you have this in here, make sure this is clicked. Not 100% what the set as primary is, but I just check it all. Make sure both of those blue checks are there. And that would go for any of the sites that you have. The office website, your other websites, I'm not sure where those go anymore, but just make sure you have everything full in there. It probably shows up when you're actually searching for an agent, but that's the biggest thing. Make sure you have that in there. And then I want to make sure you have reviews. So on your Bouge website, most likely, if you have Zillow reviews, you may have that Zillow block. I still add, because the Zillow syncing does not add to your profile. And we want those profiles because under here you have reviews. It's super easy as copy, paste, copy, paste. So come over here on our home page. We're going to go down to the app section. If you don't see website, we're just going to click all apps and that'll bring everything. Just look for this little green box that says website. We're going to go right into here. It should be in our profile, but they have it in the website section. Even if you don't use Bouge, we want your reviews to show up on your public profile because it's opportunity. We want, if it's showing it, we want it to be there. If you have reviews, let's make sure they're visible. So we're going to go down to website and go right here to reviews. So a lot of the agents, if I've done your site, if you have a lot of Zillow reviews, I've still manually copied and pasted a couple pages because I want, even if we don't use that on the Bouge website, I want it to show up on your profile. And it's super easy. You add review, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. You probably, like on Zillow, it has all these weird usernames. So you may not, I obviously, when I'm copying and pasting, I don't like the way that looks. I will put, if they were a buyer and seller, and then I put the city. I don't know if that helps with SEO, but it certainly can't hurt. And I don't know who the actual name of the person was. And I don't want to put J1251X1Z. That makes zero sense to me. I'd rather just put buyer, seller in the city. So you just copy, paste into here, add, and you just, it's basically that copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And now they're going to be on your public profile, which is super important because everybody loves reviews right now. I know when I buy anything on Amazon, that's what I'm looking for. So I just went through a lot and you guys are very quiet. You're all muted. I guess that's very good, but I love people interrupting me all the time. So feel free, unmute yourself, ask me any questions. Let's see. How to set up an appointment with me, go straight to your ROS agent because that syncs with my calendar. Go to your agent hub. And it's also in the newsletter. So your Tuesday newsletters on my little section, it has that little buttons like schedule Zoom with me. It's going to pull right up to my calendar. So you just click Zoom with me and it'll pop up to all the availability I have. Choose what's right for you. Set up multiple ones if you want to. You shouldn't have any time limit. Some meet with me once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a week. We'll give each other homework. I went to school to be a teacher, so I'm happy to help with any of this. So you just schedule right there and book your appointment. That's the easiest way. Otherwise, we go back and forth on emails and then we finally find a time. Well, somebody already got that time. So that's the easiest way because it's a live sync to my actual calendar. All right, what other questions do we have?
Is there any way to automatically link your reviews to the website instead of copying and pasting them?
Not to your public profile.
Okay.
Yes, on your Bouge website. So
Okay.
you can sync Zillow, and there's testimonial tree, I believe is the other one. You can sync by putting in your screen name, but it won't show up here. So a lot of agents that I've done the sites, if they have over 50 reviews, I'm probably going to sync their Zillow because they're actively getting reviews and it live syncs over. If they have under 30, I probably won't send them over to Zillow because these will go over to Zillow and I want to keep people on the website. So on your public profile, the only reviews that show up are the ones you manually copy and paste. What I tell agents is as you're getting these reviews, just once a month, time block. It'll literally take you 5 minutes to get any reviews that you had for that month. It doesn't take much time at all. Where if you have a teenager, it's just part of what they do for, gas money or something.
Okay, perfect.
Anyone else? So hard to look everywhere.
That's okay. Go ahead, Sally.
Heather,
Yes.
your phone is going to be ringing.
No worries. And make sure, I mean, if you want to do a Zoom to be able to see something, definitely book that appointment. There's so many different things that we can go over. I mean, I just kind of touched on just a few ideas that really helped me and some of my pet peeves and all of that, but I'd love to be able to help with any of this stuff. Anything else?
Good.
Where'd Lynn go? Oh, there she is. I see
I'm
her head
here.
now. So if you want to go ahead and stop the recording or whatnot, and this will be put on your Agent Hub as well. There's